me, it's all about removing yourself from the matrix. And it's, like I said, owning real estate. It's, maybe getting away from a job, but, doing that after you've built up maybe your portfolio a bit and you got your real estate going, stuff like that. Removing yourself from people telling you what to do. It's being outside the system. It's having your currency, your dollars in actual assets that are providing cash flow, or gold and silver, maybe some crypto, things like that. Just removing yourself from central banking, from the matrix, from governments, and just saying, like, I'm out. And then the 5Gs, what is it? Gold, guns, grub, gas, ground, it's real estate, like having all of those things to prepare yourself, because you're going to be mental, physical, emotional, financial, all those things are going to be coming to a head here. And again, those that can unlearn what they've been taught in the past by the mainstream, by the media, by schools, and then relearn this, you're going to win. You're going to win in the future. At least it's going to be a lot less hard for you. It's going to be hard, I think, in the next couple of decades. A lot of amazing things are going to happen with technology. It's going to make our life better in many, many, many ways, whether it's medical technologies, things like that. It's going to be great, but there's going to be a lot of things where, boy, if society keeps going the direction it's going, there's another topic you get into, but the moral compass is gone and no one has any guideposts. And it's just, hey, this man told me that that's good, so we can do it. We got a lot of instances in history where that's not a good idea, because that man or that woman, they change their mind on a daily basis or a monthly basis or a quarterly basis or a yearly basis. And guess what? The whole rules of the world change all of a sudden because one man or woman said, well, I don't believe that anymore. Well, you know what? Off with his head, because I don't believe that anymore. Well, I gave the decree. That's a rule now, so got to go do what I said. That's never good. In reading again, I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic, I'm very faith driven. And so now I know not everyone is, but that's where when you read the Bible and you really go into things, you start studying history and studying what actually happened, how societies think and how just the masses work. You start seeing these patterns repeat and repeat and repeat over and over again. So you can start predicting what's going to happen in the future. Like you said, you can't predict necessarily when things are going to happen, but we know, hey, the trajectory of things, like 10 years ago, I would have been fighting against, the government just, picking winners and losers, bailing people out, and, the Green New Deals and things like that. Because on the surface, it's not common sense, where it's like, we're going to destroy all these other things to try to it doesn't make sense. However, nowadays, I'm like, hey, this is going to happen. Society is going to go more toward that. One side can't make their case as to why that's not a good way to just let the free market do it. The other side is making their case more efficiently, I guess, and saying the government should just do all that. And people are siding with that side. So what do? I mean, you can go fight them and, until you're blue in the face, or you can say, hey, how am I going to profit off this? How am I going to invest in this? It's like little things like silver. I mean, I love silver because it's a money. It's in the Bible. It's been money for thousands of years, like gold, but money. So silver is going to be in solar panels. It's going to be in every computer and every digital technology there we already have, and then more and more and more. And so those are the things where you're removing yourself from the matrix and you're getting into asset classes and things that are going to position yourself appropriately. Blockchain, obviously, crypto, things like that. Blockchain is going to be a massive part of our future. And if anyone thinks that's not the case, I mean, boy, wake up and smell the coffee. So that's just going to get more and more, getting more digitized, which again, it's bad or good. I mean, one keystroke or one bad thing happens and the whole grid goes down. That's another, so that's where real estate comes in handy, obviously, right? Like that's why real estate is so great. You have the 5Gs. If the whole world collapses, then you got your real estate. People can still pay you to live in it. You got your gold. You got guns. You could barter with it. It could be defense. It's not going to be defense so much. It'll probably be barter. Things like that. But again, those are tail risks. Those are things that are not likely to happen, but they could. But it's good to be prepared. What if there's a tornado? What if there's a hurricane where you're living? What if there's we've seen all these things play out, and people just dismiss them like, oh, you know what? That won't happen to me, or that won't happen to us. We're America. Hey, it's 2020, and it's like you just open the Bible, open a history book, open anything from the past, and you just see these things happening over and over again. So it's, hey, how can we prepare? How can we get ourselves hardened, resilient for what's coming? And again, hopefully nothing bad ever pans out, and half of what we're saying never will. It'll be the other half of things that will, or what have you. But getting more prepared is going to leave you more fulfilled anyway. You're going to feel better. You're going to, like we said, getting your heart right, getting your mind right. You're going to feel better and operate better. At the end of the day, that's what's important, because then you're going to be attracting those things in your life, right? Whatever you're putting out, you're going to be attracting back into your life as well. So if you're more centered and you're more resilient and you have your head on right, well, guess what? You're going to attract more people like that, and you're going to repel the people that aren't. So at the end of the day, you want to be doing it anyway, because you're going to be attracting like into your life anyway. People like you. So to me, I mean, that's I think what's coming. I just got this. I'm really into what's coming. You know, like people like this, the Klaus Schwabs of the world, the World Economic Forum, the Great Reset. Like these are the people that are running the world. Everyone goes to Davos. All the you know, the Justin Trudeau's, the Joe Bidens. It doesn't matter. You know, the president of Australia, whatever it is. It's the prime ministers. They all go to Davos. They all meet. They're all in on the game together. And this is what I was talking about 10 years ago. What is the game, and who are the puppets pulling the strings? And that's where I just ordered 4 of his books about the fourth industrial revolution, about all this stuff. You know, we're gonna have by 2030, you're gonna have microchips in you. You're gonna own nothing. You're gonna rent everything. Well, who's that? Who are we renting from? Well, we're renting from them, of course. So all these things, it's how do I position myself to be outside the matrix, to be outside of that world that's coming. Some people might want it. I'm a big guy against tyranny, and I want my freedom. And I'm sure a lot of people listening want that as well. It's why you're in real estate. It's why you're listening to this, because you don't want other human beings controlling your life. So I'm now into not only like, you know, hey, what's coming ahead, but really getting into the teachings of like, hey, these are the people that are mapping the society and mapping world over the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. So we better start figuring that out so that you can prepare properly.
No, you and I are very similar. I like to consider myself a hedger. I'm very optimistic, you know, and I'm constantly pushing forward. But I think a lot of people, especially younger individuals, focus so much on the upsides of situations that they never also you know, exactly. And then they never also focus on the downside and minimizing risk, right? And when I was on your podcast, I appreciate you having me on, but you know, we touched briefly on the fact that, you know, someone like Dave Ramsey, if people are familiar with him, who's you know, no debt, and someone like Robert Kiyosaki, which is, you know, generally speaking, he promotes taking on a large percentage of debt. They're not mutually exclusive individuals. They're not actually talking about two different things. They're talking about very similar things. And it's because if you actually look at the mindset that goes into what they're actually talking about, and I try to merge the two, because, you know, as you said, it's not about predicting. You know, I gave up a long time ago, trying to predict what's going to happen in the world. But it's more about becoming, you know, crash proof, like that talks about, you know, being able to adapt. You know, 2020, no one could have ever predicted, or very few people could have predicted something like this happening. But it's more about adapting to it. And that's where I think the crucial point, and you talked about kind of the monotony of having all these people on to talk about house hacking and being repetitive. But I think it's all about focus, you know, and the fact that we keep focusing on this, because what house hacking actually represents is the fact that you can adapt. You know, whenever anything goes wrong, you can maneuver quickly because you don't have that giant payment like a traditional house. And that's where, you know, that's what keeps driving us to continue to bring on stories like yourself.